Broadcasting to you from the heart of northern Minnesota, you are listening to the best fucking music-oriented podcast and web series on all of YouTube. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Roger Radio Show. I am Roger Radio.
And I'm Aegis on Levity of the entire band group.
And it's a beautiful weekend right now, man. A great, beautiful weekend.
Yep. One more week, and then I get a week off work.
Since when were you allowed to get work off? I can't do that for shit, dude.
I had like 56 hours of PTO to use, so I'm just taking a week off and sit around and just work on music.
Alright, fine, fair enough. Ugh. Alright, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to do a little bit something different here since there are no album anniversaries. Before we get into that, the question of the podcast. Oh, gotta let him gulp it quick. Before we get into today's topic, the question of the podcast is, who is your favorite Spinoff band? And to give you an idea of what a Spinoff band is, it's basically a band that was created after a band, so to speak.
I'd have to go with Darren Malakian's band Scars on Broadway.
Who are the spinoff of?
System of a Down.
Perfect. It's tough for me to say, man. I think out of all of them, there's like a couple that I know mostly. I think one of them is actually going to be the topic of today's topic, and that is, of course, 3. I would say is like a favorite spinoff band of mine. I'm trying to figure this out. Emerson, Lake and Palmer is kind of a spin-off band of King Crimson because of Greg Lake, leaving to form that band.
Yep.
So, lots of big, lots of spin-off bands out there, man. It's just hard to say which one, Foo Fighters is kind of a spin-off band of Nirvana because Dave Grohl, who's the lead singer for it, was the drummer of Nirvana, so they kind of count. And I do love me some Foo Fighters, man. Really do. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get into this topic that we're going to talk about today. And this is a topic that I've been wanting to do for a while. And we are basically going to talk about the spin-off bands that were created in the wake of Emerson, Lake and Palmer's first breakup. And we are, of course, talking about Asia, Emerson, Lake and Powell, and 3.
I got something to say about Asia when we get to it.
Oh yeah, definitely. We for those of you who are wondering about 3, they're also known as Emerson, Barry, and Palmer. I guess they wanted to keep using that name or whatever. Like how they say Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, but then you have Emerson, Lake, and Powell, and then you have 3 who would technically be Emerson, Barry, and Palmer, right? Guess they were trying to keep that trend going for their stuff. So, as you all know, ladies and gentlemen, these 3 bands here, they have obviously they were created in the wake of the first breakup of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, who, after recording their albums, simply Works Volume 1 and Works Volume 2 in 1977, they would end up making another album that's simply titled Love Beach. And then in 1979, Emerson, Lake and Palmer disbanded. So they ended up in the wake of that. Carl Palmer, the drummer for them, he ended up creating or co-founding the supergroup Asia with the Likes. They are another supergroup in their own right. So for Carl Palmer to bring that supergroup clout to this next band, it kind of makes sense. And Asia, as we all know, we've talked about him on our episode where we were talking about music supergroups. And Asia is not only a spin-off band of Emerson, Lake and Palmer, but they are also they're a supergroup and they're also a spin-off band, believe it or not. This band consists of Carl Palmer, John Wetton of King Crimson, Uriah Heep and UK, and then Steve Howe and Jeff Downs, both of Yes. Now, Asia has a really big discography in their own right, and because of for the sake of like timing and all that, we are only going to focus on the albums that were created that had the original four-man lineup from Asia's debut album. There is only 5 of them that were made that had the original lineup, so we're only going to focus on those albums for the sake of timing and keeping it going, you know. Obviously, they've released Asia in 1982, Alpha in 1983, Phoenix in 2008, Omega in 2010, and 2012. The album is called XXX. So you'd think that there would be a lot of sex sounds involved in that album, but that's not the case.
Excuse me.
Now, what do you want to say about them?
So, with all the people in it, Asia on paper should be really good. I really do not like Asia.
Here's the one thing though. They are only mostly well known because of their first 3 albums. The only thing that really came out of that album, out of that whole band, was just their debut album. There was only 2 big hits that came off that, which were the first 2 singles from their debut album. There were a couple hidden gems here and there that I do like, but
yeah, they had a couple good songs, but overall, a lot of their songs just sounded the same to me. You know what I mean?
They ended up doing what the band Stained and Creed did.
Yeah.
Before Stained and Creed did what they did. And their music, yeah, like you said, is correct. Like, they're almost the same. They didn't even try doing anything, like, different with their music. I mean, Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, we all know they tried a bunch of different stuff. Like, their music sound different here and there, but they wanted to keep that same flow or whatever that made them well-known. So I think Asia was trying to do something like that, but the problem was they didn't have a couple gems here and there that just didn't sound different. Even some of the... go ahead.
Yeah, because like with Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, all of their music is different. Most of their songs are unique, you know. But with Asia, all of them just sound the fucking same.
Yeah, and here's the one thing, dude. With Asia, they were, at the time when they were being formed, they were supposed to be considered like the most anticipated supergroup of the 1980s. That's what everyone said about them. They did do okay with their debut album, but the thing was is that, I don't know, man.
And it says they're prog rock. I disagree with that. I wouldn't consider Asia prog at all.
What would you consider them more as?
I don't know, just regular, just like pop rock.
Yeah, that's exactly what it says right here, is that their genres are supposed to be progressive rock, AOR, and pop rock. And
what the fuck even is AOR?
Oh, it's arena rock.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, but there gives you an idea of that. This was a band that was formed in 1981, and it comprises of some of the biggest names in the prog rock genre. Obviously, John Wen, like I said, he was the singer and the bassist for them. And he was in your band King Crimson. He was also in Uriah Heep and UK. Then you had Steve Howe, who was a longtime guitarist for Yes, has been with the Yes since the beginning of time, I think. And then Jeff Downs, who I think was only on 1 or 2 of Yes's albums prior to joining them. And then we have the aforementioned Carl Palmer, who was the drummer for Emerson, Lake and Palmer and Atomic Rooster.
Okay.
You know, and when you listen to some of the music like influences on, I think, some of Asia's stuff, like I think their first 2 albums, you could hear a little bit of Yes in it, but it's mainly because of Steve Howe's guitar. And we know that when it comes to prog rock, his guitar playing is very, it's like something that, if you listen to like how many other guitarists in the prog rock era, his sounded, if you heard his guitar playing, it's like, oh yeah, that's Steve Howe. That's the style he plays. That being said, like these guys, but they've been active from 1981 till 1986. Then they reformed in 1989 and are still going today. There's even talk right now that they're supposed to be making a new album.
Hmm. I'm
But
curious how their newer music sounds to see if it's any better.
yeah, I mean, one thing with them is that they obviously they pretty much have a whole entire new lineup today. Jeff Downs is the only original member who's still with them today.
Hmm.
No, because like obviously Steve Howe retired from them. From Asia to focus more on Yes. John Wen passed away from cancer in 2017, and Carl Palmer went and did whatever. Excuse me. But here's the one thing: is like with Asia, dude. Like I said, dude, prior to when the 1980s were formed, they were supposed to be the one of the most anticipated bands to be formed, you know, and they did okay. But in the end, their music just sounded the same, like you said.
Yeah.
There's nothing entirely different about it at all.
I listened to all the albums you told me to listen to by them, and I just wrote down all the songs that I thought were good or okay.
Yeah. I pretty much just made like a whole playlist entirely of the songs that stuck out to me the most from each of the 5 albums that I wanted to get into.
Yeah.
And I'll have to see if I even remember to even fucking say what I have in my mental notes. But I had like so much shit that I had to do this morning prior to recording this podcast. So obviously, we're going to start with their debut album, which was released on March 18th, 1982. It was recorded from June to November of 1981. It was recorded at Marcus Recording Studios in London and the Townhouse in London. The genres are progressive pop, pop rock, hard rock, and art rock. It was released by Geffen Records and it was produced by Mike Stone, who has worked with the likes of Queen, Foreigner, Journey, Toby Bow, Whitesnake, April Wine, and many more. We're obviously not gonna get into a whole lot of info, ladies and gentlemen. I just want to get into some of the key info here. Now, the interesting thing about Asia's album cover for their debut is that Asia's official logo and cover artwork were created by Roger Dean, who did most of the album covers for Yes. So you could see some Yes influence in there. And then and considering that Steve Howe and Jeff Downs are from Yes, they probably brought him in saying, "Hey, you know, you can make the music, you can make the art for us. Let's bring some of that Yes mentality to it and get this thing going." You know, I'm actually now obviously the album got 4.5 stars by AllMusic, and Christgau's record guide gave it a C minus. And up to this
Hmm.
point, their debut album is considered their best-selling album. For the charting stuff, it reached number 11 in the UK albums chart, and oh my god, dude, number 1 on the US Billboard 200.
Really?
Yeah, and overall, it sold it is 4 times platinum in the United States with over 4 million copies. It does not have an estimated worldwide total on here, but this is obviously their best album. And like I said, anticipation, man, the anticipation of it. Um, so obviously the song that stuck out to me the most out of all of them, the first one,
Which one was the first one? Soul Survivor?
Heat of the Moment.
Heat of the Moment. I really didn't care for Heat of the Moment much. I never really liked that song much.
But dude, you obviously know what episode of Supernatural it was on, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, I really like this song. It's actually my most favorite song from Asia, and obviously it's their biggest hit, right? It, it's a album, it's the song that gets almost constant airplay, you know, it really does. Um, I just wanted to look at this here.
Yeah, my favorite song on their original album was Time Again.
Oh yeah, time again. I know which one you're talking about here. I think I had like a note or something that I wanted to say for that as soon as we get to it, but Honestly, heat of the moment, dude. I cannot listen to that fucking song without thinking of that episode of Supernatural where Dean kept fucking dying and Seth all of a sudden turns or on the radio alarm, it plays heat of the moment on every Tuesday, right? For like the longest time, dude, every time I was waking up, dude, I had that song as my fucking alarm every Tuesday. But then, of course, the vibe for me constantly, immediately died with what I believe is one of the most fucking annoying songs ever. Only time will tell.
Yeah, the other two songs that I did think were okay on the album were Soul Survivor and Wildest Dreams.
I liked Soul Survivor. It did feel like it was kind of a little different, but you still hear some of that Asia sound, as I like to call it.
Yeah.
You know, but I did like it. It was nice. I just hope I don't get copyrighted because I'm listening to it so that I give you a good idea of it. But assuming if nothing
It's not
crashes,
picking up on my end. I can't hear it.
perfect. But yeah, dude, dun 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 dun. You know, you hear that piano by
Hmm.
Jeff Downs, you know, and then John Wetton coming in with his voice, and then to have I can't remember what did all of them do the backing vocals alongside with Wen, you know?
I
Uh,
don't know. I didn't have
yeah.
much time to do research for this one because I've been busy because I'm making music for the Catholic Church.
Oh yeah. We'll
Yeah, I composed a 10-minute long a cappella vocal piece.
yeah. But yeah, I'm just listening to a little bit right now. I don't want to like obviously take too much time. But then
Yeah.
you hear time again, which is your favorite, which is dan 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 dan. It sounds like
Yeah.
if Jaws it would sound like you know the Jaws theme song.
Yeah.
You take that and you make it sound like you're a New York cop in the 50s and 60s. And then of course you hear the music. It almost sounds like you're racing against time kind of thing. You know, like your heart's just pounding so much, you know.
Hmm.
And it just reminds me of like when we were talking about Dark Side of the Moon and then there was their third song On the Run and I said that in interpretation it's like desperation. It almost feels like you're racing against something and then once the song ends you're out of time kind of thing. That's what I get with this song. Oh, and then you get to Wildest Dreams. You know that song?
Yeah, I think I put that down as yeah, I thought it was good. I thought it was good. That's all I can really say about it is it was good.
You can hear like obviously in you can obviously hear in some of the words here it's almost like it sounds patriotic kind of thing, you know, because they're saying
Yeah.
for king and country. That's the what the British always yell whenever they're going to combat is for king and country, you know, or
Hmm.
queen and country, whoever the fuck's even in charge, right? But I thought it was another good tune also. Oh, and then we get to Cutting It Fine, dude. And as soon as you hear Steve Howe on the guitar, you immediately know it's him.
Yep. I mean, a lot of the soloing on these albums were good, but it
Yeah.
wasn't good enough to make up for the just boring, strong song structure.
I think basically his interpretation I think was that he wanted to add a bit of that yes flavor to it because he had already built up like a lot of clout or you know a lot of his pedigree, you know. And I think he wanted to try and incorporate it into Asia, but when you try to put the same music that you were listening that you played in your previous band and try to put it in the new band and not try and do anything different, then I could see why everyone just be like, "That's my opinion." But I do like Steve Howe's guitar playing. I think, in my opinion, he might be one of the best guitarists in the prog rock genre.
I mean, my favorite guitarist is Frank Zappa, of course. Close second is Shit, why can't I remember his name all of a sudden?
Is it the guy?
Ah,
Is it David Bowie? Is it one of the guys from King Crimson? Or
King Crimson, Robert Fripp. I know why I couldn't remember Robert Fripp's name there for a second.
how could you
Well, Robert
how
Fripp
could
is
you
my second favorite guitarist.
how could you fucking forget Robert Fripp? He's your boy. He's your dog. Your brother. Your cracker, dude. How could you forget him, man? But yeah, and then I'm just giving a quick listen here. Oh, and yeah, then when you get to like around the 3 minute 20-second mark on Cutting It Fine, dude, you could hear like, like how Yes does some of the instrumentation, like they did with Close to the Edge and like made a complete change and then went back to the same thing at the beginning of the song.
Yeah.
That's what I felt like they did with this song, you know. You even gotta admit, I'm looking at the album cover right now for their debut album and it's a pretty badass. No, heck, dude, I don't think I could even do that fucking good of artwork, dude. I went to graphic design school, for Christ's sake. Turns out the only thing I'm good for is how to make videos, man. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, worked on a video for the Intermission group and it's a fucking doozy.
Oh yeah, it's a really good video. He just edited it. Well, I just watched it today. Fucking chef's kiss.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's continue on. All right, that's all I really wanted to talk about for in terms of like the songs that stood out to me on their debut album. Do you have any other songs that stick to your mind that you wanted to talk
Just
about quick?
those, just the three I mentioned were good on there.
Oh, okay. Well, now that that's done, let's move on to their sophomore effort, which is simply titled Alpha. Now, let me
I
tell
did
you
not.
something. What?
What? Oh, you first.
No, no, no. You go first.
I did not like a single song on this album. Not one.
Oh. I'm gonna have a whole lot to say about some of the songs on here when we get to it, but dude, let me tell you something. I'm the alpha male.
I'm not an alpha. I'm not a beta either. I'm not, also not an alpha. I'm somewhere in between.
Right. I'm looking at the artwork for this album cover, and dude, I swear to God, this almost gave me a Mass Effect vibe right here that I'm seeing, even before Mass
Yep.
Effect became what it became. Anyway, this album was released on August 12th, 1983. It was recorded it was recorded between February and May of 83. It was recorded at Le Studio in Quebec and Monta Sound in Toronto. The genres are progressive pop, pop rock, and art rock. It was, of course, released by Geffen Records, and once again, Mike Stone came in to produce. For the artwork, they brought back Roger Dean. And let me tell you, dude, he did this Roger Dean guy. I want to look more at the artwork that he did because I'm sure he must have worked with other prog bands. I imagine.
Yeah, I do like their album covers. They have some pretty decent album covers. I'll say that.
Yeah, I'm just looking to see here. Holy shit, there's gonna be way too many for me to read, so I'm just gonna skip it. But yeah, this album right here would end up being the last one to feature all four members for the foreseeable future because let me see here. I'm just seeing oh, it was Steve Howe who left after this album to return to Yes or to focus his work on Yes. But long story short was that there was apparently inner conflict that ensued, mainly between Steve Howe and John Wetton over who was more responsible for the band's initial success. So they were already butting heads, dude. And this
Yep.
is the one thing that makes super groups like probably challenging because you are in other bands, you build up like this whole portfolio and career, and then eventually ego's gonna catch up to you, and you're gonna have like two alpha males, like John Wen, who has all of his experience with what he did, and Steve Howe with all the experience that he had, and they're gonna clash. Um, I'm just trying to see here. Oh yeah, Howe did recall that in his autobiography that the sessions he felt were way too rushed. Geffen was eager to capitalize on the group's success and wanted to get a second album out as soon as it could. The band and the music would have, in Howe's opinion, benefited from taking a more deliberate approach. The band's mood was also complicated by the quote unquote cabin fever that resulted in being in an isolated area of Quebec over the winter, which was that studio that they recorded part of this album at. So, makes sense. The album would end up getting a 3-star rating by AllMusic.
That's
Uh,
pretty fair.
yeah,
That is a 2 to 3 star album if I've ever heard one.
Yeah. It peaked at number 5 on the UK albums chart and at number 6 on the US Billboard 200. There's no worldwide certification here, but they went platinum once with selling over 1 million copies here in the US. But I'm sure there's some people that listen to us and they were like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah.
You know. Um. All right, so I'm gonna get into the music that I wanted to talk about here. Just give me a moment. The smile has left your eyes. I really did not care about, to be honest with you here, you know. I thought John Wetton's singing was okay, you know, but I feel like if he would have put more effort into it, then he would have. This song could have really stood out in my opinion, you know. Um,
Yeah, I don't really care how good the musicians on the album are if the music itself is boring.
yeah. Um,
Like you could be a really good singer, sing really well and with some really good musicians, but if the music itself is just boring, repetitive, or just not good,
yeah.
your album's not good.
The next song here, "Never in a Million Years." I'm just gonna be honest. I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I kind of did not like the how the music sounded. I just didn't like it, to be honest with you.
It's the main way I'm judging their music is the sound of their music.
Yeah. And then I'm just giving my own time. I'll do what I want to listen quick. I thought, for me, it's kind of like around that fine line there, like either you like it or you don't kind of thing, but it's there. It's there,
Yeah.
practically. That's how my take is about it. So, but then I think Eye to Eye, I think I would say is like one of my faves. I do kind of like how it sounded. Otherwise, oh yeah, actually, it would just be like "Never in a Million Years." I kind of did not like it, to be honest with you, but it's somewhat okay kind of thing, you know. Um, The Last to Know. I'm I'm just trying to think of what would I say for The Last to Know. I think it's just like on that fine line kind of thing for me, you know. So
Hmm.
that's how I would perceive it to be honest with you, you know. Um, oh yeah, it's Midnight Sun that I liked on this album.
Yeah.
I actually thought the lyrics were pretty good, you know. Like I'm reading some of this here, and it almost feels like, you know, if you read the likes of Echoes by Pink Floyd, you know, and then when you think of like something spacey or like bringing it back to Earth kind of thing, it almost feels like that for me, you know.
It was called Midnight Sun.
Yes. Oh, and then another song that kind of stood out for me was actually "Open Your Eyes," and no, there's no Nicholas in the name.
All right.
Huh?
No, no, nothing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Anything else on that album?
Um, Not really, dude. Not really. The album, I was kind of disappointed in the album, but there is like a couple of good
Yep,
hidden gems that are on there. But at the end of the day, it felt like it did not capture that magic that they brought with their debut.
I agree. I did not like this album.
At least you're being upfront about it. So,
Yeah.
all right. And then this would end up marking their last album for the foreseeable future because right afterwards, let me just quickly find it. Oh yeah. Um, I'm just trying to read the stuff here. Oh yeah, here it is. It actually, yeah, you know what? It wasn't Steve Howe who left. It was John Wen who left the group. Basically,
Yep.
yeah, basically, like I said, this would end up being their last album for 25 years with the lineup because in October of 1983, John Wen left the group because he was extremely disappointed in the sales on Alpha. The band, however, said that Wen quit, but Wen would say that he was fired by phone. There is no universally agreed version on what happened, but Wen said later that his alcohol dependency was one of the factors in it. Howe, in his 2021 autobiography, says that tensions had been building gradually as songs began to work out differently on stage than they had while recording the album, which had itself not gone completely smoothly. After a show in New York where some members of the band had, after giving an interview, taken the stage and given a subpar performance, Howe recalled that he, Downs, and Palmer confronted Wen about his increasing mistakes on stage. Um,
Right. Want to get into
I'm
Phoenix?
just trying to read a little more of this quick. There's a couple more things I want to say quick. Um, no, the next leg of their 1983 US tour, which had begun in the summer but shut down suddenly on September 10th following a performance at Pine Knob outside Detroit, Michigan, scheduled for the album, was abruptly canceled, reportedly because of low ticket sales. Howe says this was because Wen's issues had worsened. The ensuing 2-month break in the tour marked Wen's departure from the band as a practical matter, regardless of who had initiated it. Um, and then in December of '83, they actually brought in Greg Lake as his replacement for a few concerts in Japan. So Greg Lake had did some work with them for a little bit. He probably ended up recommending. He was probably recommended by Carl Palmer to be like, let's finish this tour and let's bring him in. So I'm just taking a look to see if there's anything else. Oh yeah. Yeah, following Lake's departure in early of '84, then John Wen was asked to return. In Howe's account, Wen approached the band via management. After a 3-month absence, he returned to on the condition that Steve Howe be ousted from the band. For a while, the group had considered continuing as a three-piece without a permanent guitarist, inviting many guitarists such as Jeff Beck and David Gilmour into the studio. Geffen Records even suggested that Crocus's guitarist Mandy Meyer, who got on well with the band, she was recommended by their management and she was offered a permanent spot. So, no, basically, they kick out John Wen or he quit, and then they ask him to come back, but Wen says that I will not return unless Steve Howe is out of the band, and they kick Howe out and they bring in Mandy Meyer, who got along with all of them. So and then um okay, I'm just reading what else happened here quickly. Basically, Howe would have brief success with another supergroup called GTR, who he formed this super group with Genesis guitar Steve Hackett and Steve Howe. It doesn't say how when it was that he returned to Yes, but I'm sure we can find that another time. But either way,
Yeah.
it was 25 years that the four did not perform together, and then come April of two or come 2007 or 2006, I meant, all four of them officially reunite. And what resulted was was the third album to have the classic lineup, Phoenix.
There were two songs on here that were pretty good. A little bit proggy, pretty good.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's good.
And there was another song that I thought was had a couple good moments in it, but most of it was still, I don't know, just filler mostly. Like some old cool sounding bits in it with like a bunch of filler in between.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That is cool indeed. Like I said, what can I say about this album right here? It was at least a step in the right direction to bring them back, at least, kind of thing. It was
Yeah.
I thought there were some good songs on here that I liked. Um, so the album was released on April 11th, 2008. Oh, it was right before a day before my 14th birthday. Okay. It was recorded between September of 2007 and February of 2008. It was recorded at Lescombe Park Studios in Buckinghamshire. The genres were progressive rock and album-oriented rock. There were three different labels that had released it. Frontiers for the European stuff, Capitol Records in the US, and EMI in Canada. The producers were Asia themselves, along with Steve Rispin. And actually, the album did a little bit better than Alpha, believe it or not. All Music gave it a 4-star rating here. And then it peaked, but unfortunately, chart-wise, it didn't do really well. It only peaked at number 73 on the US Billboard 200. Right, but there was a couple good things that I did like on this album here.
Yeah, this next I actually liked some of the songs in this album.
Right? I did. Never Again. Like, you hear the synthesizer, dude, and it almost reminds me of one of the songs I heard from The Weeknd.
Yeah.
You know? Oh, and then I think probably the one part that gets me the hardest. Never, for me, I think probably one of the lines that hits me hard is probably never again will I bear arms against my brother. Now, this here is, I think, supposed to be about camaraderie, but it almost feels like it was like a subtle reference to like John Wayne and Steve Howe making amends, I think, before their reunion. It did. I thought that was a pretty nice one. And then, of course, we have, I'm looking at some of the lyrics here, and yeah, you can see has that progressive rock touch to it, because like you said, with their lyrics and the prog rock movement, man.
There were two songs in it that were a bit proggy that I did like. And it is we haven't named them yet. Hmm.
Probably the most hauntingly beautiful song on here for me, for some reason, is Heroin. Like, like the music sounds like it's supposed to be a fucking tribute, then all of a sudden John Wayne just starts singing about drugs. Like,
Hmm.
like what? You know what I mean? Like, what, dude? Like, John, are you okay, man?
Hmm.
But oh my god, dude, like what the fuck with this song, bro? Anyway, I think the next one here, I don't have the lyrics for this one, but it's supposed to be like a 3 sweet song here. Sleeping Giant, No Way Back, and Reprise.
That is one of the songs I liked.
Yeah?
I
Can you
thought it was pretty
explain?
good. I just liked the way it sounded. Of course, it was only most of the song I liked. There were some like sections that felt kind of like filler still.
Yeah.
Overall, most of the song was pretty good. Pretty good.
Here's the one thing. It's like they basically with these songs, like obviously we all know that Yes is known to make sweets and whatnot in their songs, and then Emerson, Lake and Palmer. So I feel like it was Carl Palmer and Steve Howe said, "Let's do these in suites," don't you think, guys? And I can't remember what the instrument was, but did you hear that instrument that goes wah wah wah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
I
that was my
likes
reaction
that
to it.
part.
So no, but it did. I did. You could hear like it was half Asia and half Yes, but I'll be honest with you, man. Like some reason, like it feels like this would be more of a Yes song. You know?
It's probably why I liked it, was because it didn't sound anything like Asia.
Yeah, Steve Howe was like, "Step aside, gentlemen," and then did this.
I'll show you how it was done.
Yeah, I'll show you how it's done. We're gonna bring that Yes mentality into this. And then here's another good tune right here. I Will Remember You.
I don't like that one.
I thought, you know, it's the one thing about this song. It's like, it feels like it's a tribute of sorts, but it's not directed at anyone at all. So who knows? It could be about maybe this guy, or maybe that guy, or maybe this girl, gal, and that gal there. Who knows? I thought it was a beautiful song. You know, I will say that. I think if I ended up, God, I don't even want to make comparisons to this song, but I feel like I would kind of like make it a more softer it would kind of be like a softer version of The Spirit Carries On, honestly. And
Yeah.
and this is just like, whoa, Roger, you cannot compare Asia with Dream Theater, but it's true though. When you listen to the lyrics for both these songs, dude, we get a nut. Then the next song that came to mind for me was the another three sweet song, Parallel Worlds, Vortex, Dea.
That was the other one that I really liked.
I did like the beginning of this.
Yeah, I liked a lot of this one too, but once again, as every single Asia song I've heard, it has some filler in it.
Right? I'm just listening to it right now, man. Like, oh, and then you get to around the 5 minute mark, and some reason it almost feels like I would compare this to, like, you know, the middle part of Close to the Edge by Yes.
Yeah.
There you go again with the Yes comparisons.
Mm.
God damn it, Steve. God damn it, Jeff. Another song that comes to mind for me is Orchard of Minds. What
Yeah,
can I
there's
say
only
about
one there's only
Orchard of
one other
Minds?
song on the album that I have anything good to say about.
Oh god, dude, come on. Surely you liked something. Man.
I liked the two sweets, and there's another song that had its moments.
Yeah. Well, like I said, dude, like I did like the beginning of this song, but then when you get to the 1 minute 20 second mark, dude, and then all of a sudden it changes moods, like, what the fuck are you guys doing? You're killing me here, bro. Fuck off, man, you know? Um, oh, what's your take on Over and Over? This is another song that comes to mind for me.
I didn't really care for that one either.
Just that stern look you're fucking making right there, dude. God damn it. You know, I do like this tune. I think I'm gonna add it as a future song to download, actually. All right, there we go. But yeah, just sounds pretty catchy.
Yeah,
And then of course we get to the last song, An Extraordinary Life, which is almost like a throwback to debut time, man.
yeah,
I don't know why.
I wrote down "Wish I'd Known All Along." I thought it had some good moments in it. Most of the song was shit, but it had some good moments.
Most of the song is shit. It had good vibes.
Yeah,
Had very good vibes indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Um, I was gonna say, what do you say we take a break right now, man? I want to get my
Sweet, I
bearings.
gotta piss.
All right, go piss, ladies and gentlemen. We will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, I tell you, after a long, stressful day, sometimes it's just good, relax, and just enjoy the weekend while you can. In this case, for me, music-wise, honestly, I have to enjoy my weekend by just sitting back and having me some Post Malone Oreo cookies right here. Now, this here I've never tried before, but because I'm musically inclined, I have to try these. Holy fuck, that actually looks good. Take a look at that. Take a look at that. It looks like a reverse Oreo cookie, but it's almost like it went halfway and they still didn't go back ever. Might as well give this a try. That looks incredible. Well, cheers. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Roger Radio here with the Aegis Don Fuckstick, and welcome back to Weekend at Bernie's. The show dedicated to making you spin around when you listen to spin-off bands. So, ladies and gentlemen, we are still continuing on our conversation and discussion about Emerson, Lake and Palmer spin-off bands. We are still talking about Asia, and there are two more albums that the original lineup made together that we are going to focus on. Like I said, because of how big their discography is for Asia, I only wanted to focus on the albums that had the original lineup. In total, there was about 5 albums, and there's 2 more that we need to cover. We are going to continue on with their 2010 album, Omega. And
There were 3 songs I liked.
I think that's like about the same for me, to be honest with you, but I could be wrong. But I will say this, though, for their album cover, I fucking love the album cover.
Let me look up the album cover quick.
Like, dude, ain't that beautiful? It could have had a lot more artwork to it, dude, but it looks nice even for it being simplistic.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I like that. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, that's not a Liger, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But hey, I'll go with it any day of the week, man. Okay. This album was released on April 21st, 2010. It was recorded from October of 2009 to February of 2010. Recorded at Liscombe Park Studios in Buckinghamshire. The genres are progressive rock, album-oriented rock, released by Frontiers Records, and was produced by Mike Paxman. The album ratings, it was 3.5 stars by AllMusic is what it was given. And it doesn't really have much in terms of like any charts for like US album charts or Billboard stuff, which is kind of unfortunate because there were a couple good songs on here, but And I will say this here, I actually did like the first song on this album.
Which song was that? Finger on the
Trigger?
Yep, I liked that one too. I thought it was a good song.
It does not sound the same like any of their previous works.
It doesn't. That's why it's good. It doesn't sound like their usual slop.
Yeah, but then of course the vocals, it does have that Asia tune, but the music was different, dude.
Yes, that's why I liked it.
This is a definite download that I'm doing right here. All right, put it on there. Like, oh my god, even the lyrics. Like the overall flow of the lyrics as the music was going, dude, was so perfect, And then of course we get to Holy War.
I thought it had its moments.
That's what I thought too. Is like it had some nice stuff on here, like, let me think of it. Let me put it to you this way. Like, when you listen to the music on here, dude, it sounds like you can hear the irony of it. You know, like, the irony of it all, dude. You know? And even looking at some of the lyrics, dude, like, holy shit, man. Like, look at these. Like, it's what we're fighting for, and is it worth dying for? Like, that is a lyric that really sticks to my mind when it comes to this song right here. And I'm trying to think, what can I say? I don't even know what else to say about this song, you know? Like, I think
Yeah.
I think pretty much when it comes to this, like, everything about it pretty much speaks for itself, you know? It really does. And then we got another one that's called Listen Children, another one that sticks to my mind for me.
I didn't care for that one.
Yeah. Um, but it's the piano that really sticks out to me the most when it comes to Listen Children, you know? Then when you get
Hmm.
then when you get to the chorus saying, "Listen children, what's that sound? Won't you come and hear our music play?" Well, now you're being desperate, John. You're being desperate saying, "Come listen to our music." I think
Specifically children, though.
yeah, some reason, dude, it almost feels like that's a subtle reference to when he ended up quitting the first time around because of his unsatisfaction with Alpha's sales.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's true or not, but if it was, dude, it would be a funny coincidence right there, you know? um, Another song, Light the Way. I'm gonna be honest with you, dude, with this song, dude. I wasn't really a fan of this song.
I wasn't either. Join the club.
Yeah. The the overall some reason I look back on when we listened to I can't remember which song from The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway that had the really hard synthesizer, and then when you take David Bowie's you can't get I can't give everything or whatever,
I
when
can't
you
give everything
mash them
away.
to when you mesh them together, dude, it's like I don't know why I keep getting flashbacks to that song. Oh, let me ask you this. What was your take about Emily?
Didn't like it.
Some reason, dude, it does not feel like an Asia song, but if you listen to the Goo Goo Dolls, dude, it feels like it has their tempo. It has the Goo Goo Dolls' fucking tempo on this song, dude. And I'll be honest with you, there's a few Emilys that I know out there. So maybe I should just share this on my Facebook feed and my Threads feed, right? And then say this is to all the Emilys I know out there. And then all of a sudden, there's a couple of them that look at me like, and of course, when you look at the lyrics for this, man, Emily, I want you, but there's nothing I can do. Now I know all you see my invisibility, so just do this for me, and I beg you, please, and put your hand on my knee, Emily. Anyway, I think I'm gonna add this as another song to download just because I can. All right, but yeah. Yeah, surely you know a few Emily's yourself, right?
I met a couple.
From college or high school?
I worked with one at DQ for a while,
Oh,
and when
okay.
I was a little kid, I lived near one.
Oh, okay, fair enough. All right, let's continue on here. Oh, and then we get I'm Still the Same.
Didn't like it.
I'm listening to the beginning of this and it sounds like a freaking church organ. But if they ended up changing the organ to a synthesizer, just imagine we have you
Hmm.
at whatever church you're at on Sundays. We have the synthesizer for you. We give you the Elton John glasses, and then you look all Christ-like out there, and then you just go like this, and all that. But it says I'm still
Excuse
the
me.
same. Are you really? Oh, and then one of the choruses. Whatever happened to the girl I knew? She either got married, she got divorced, she fucking ran away, she disappeared. What do you expect fucking happened to her?
Hmm.
I'm not saying that you had anything to do with it, sir, but
Might just
if
happen to do with you slinging out slop and calling it music.
right. All right, so let's continue on, shall we? Oh, and then we got another one here. Don't want to lose you now. Too late, you just did.
Hmm.
Too late, you just fucking did, man. And you're starting to lose me on this shit, because come on, Asia. What was your take for this song here?
What do you think?
No. I don't even know what to say for this song, honestly. I had something in my head, but I can't fucking think of it now. But yeah, let's just skip on to the next song because that's all I got for that. We now move on to the last album that had the original lineup, and it's simply titled XXX. And ladies and
Oh,
gentlemen,
first off on the last album, there is one more song that I actually kind of liked.
go ahead.
That was End of the World. I thought it was mostly good.
Oh, okay, that's it. Anything else?
No.
All right.
Then
Now we're
XXS
gonna.
had two songs that I
Oh yeah.
liked.
All right. Now we're gonna move on to the next album, and it's 2012's XXX. And ladies and gentlemen, it's not a porno. They did not put sex sounds or anything like that on here. The album art doesn't even look pornographic.
You sound frustrated.
Sexually frustrated, probably. But anyway, this album was released on June 20th, 2012. It was recorded from January to March of 2012, recorded at Lescombe Park Studios in Buckinghamshire. The genre is progressive rock, and I'm not kidding you, it is prog rock. You can look it up yourself. It was
So does it
released
sound
by,
like prog rock?
well, it's what it fucking says, so accept it. No,
Hmm.
the label that released it was Frontiers Records, and it was produced by Mike Paxman. And once again, they would bring in Roger Dean to do the artwork for it. And oh, Roger Dean has done every single one of their albums up to this point. Okay. Now, what can I say about this album? It got a 4.5 star rating on here. And oh, here we go. Oh my god, dude, that is a real punch in the gut right there. It did not do good on the US charts. It peaked at 134 on the US Billboard 200 and at number 69 on the UK albums chart. Like, ooh, ooh. Okay, so Bury Me in Willow is my favorite.
My favorite, oh, what did I write down? It would either be I Know How You Feel or Elgato Nero.
Oh yeah, it's that one that has that fucking title name that ain't in English. I got you. But I did like the overall sound of this one here, Bury Me in Willow. it had a little bit of that Asia influence in it, but then it sounded kind of they kind of tuned it a tiny bit or whatever, but it still sounds like an Asia song, you know.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but some reason John Wayne sounds like he would be a Alan Parsons Project singer in this. I don't know why, you know. I don't know. Like the music sounds really good here. I really like it, and then some of the lyrics here are really good too. You know.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all I could say about it, really. You know.
On the next spin-off bands.
Not yet. There's still a few more I have to no, for the songs that I have to talk about. So,
Oh, okay.
another
Okay.
one is called "No Religion."
Didn't really care for it, honestly.
It The thing is that it does sound a little different from you know, their previous songs. You know, but then you have that synthesizer come in. The synthesizer came in, dude. Next up, I know how you feel, and dude, I don't know why, but the music for I know how you feel almost sounds more like if you were listening to a Supertramp song.
Yeah. I thought it sounded pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it was decent too, but it threw me off. Like it has that
Hmm.
Asia kick in it, but it's the beginning makes it sound like you're listening to a Supertramp song. Who did they do? What did they do? Did they bring in Roger Hodgson to do this song or what? I think I'll probably add this one. I think I'll probably add this song to download too. Okay. Face on the Bridge. What do you think of
Didn't care
Face
for
on
it.
the Bridge? Huh?
Didn't care for it.
I hear that bass, dude, and it almost sounds like a Yes bass right there. But remember, John Wetton, he was the bassist on this band, but he was not a Yes guy. He was a King Crimson and Uriah Heep guy. Um, Algato Nero, I think.
I thought it was okay.
Yeah. It did sound very rockish. I will give you that. All right. Oh, and then of course, this song sounds really somber to be honest with you, and it's Ghost of a Chance, and this would be the last song that Asia would do with the four original lineup members. Does it almost feels like a eulogy kind of thing, you know? Being like the
Yeah.
original lineup is no more now at this point, to be honest with you, especially with the piano. Um, that's all I got to really say about it here, to be honest with you. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to be all the albums that had the four original members on here. At the end of the day, Asia did they did leave a mark. Don't get me wrong, they did leave a mark. They got four of the most well-known names in the prog rock genre. They brought them together, and the rest is history. This Triple X in 2012 would sadly mark the last time all four members would play together because Steve Howe would end up he would officially retire from Asia to focus more on Yes, and understandably so. He actually did leave a statement that I want to read if that's all right with you, Aegis.
Yeah.
All right. This he would end up he on January 10th of 2013, Howe officially announced his retirement from the band to focus on other projects, more specifically Yes, bringing an end to the original lineup as we know it. Um they would end up bringing in guitarist Sam Colson, and they would end up releasing Gravitas in 2014 with him. On the website,
Gravitas.
huh?
Gravitas.
Whatever it is. It sounds more cool with Gravitas, but I'll take your word for it. Yeah, according to the on the website ultimateclassicrock.com, Howe explained his decision to leave Asia. Something had to give because just done 5 years with both bands, and then Jeff had joined Yes when we did Fly From Here, which is maybe a lot shorter, only a quarter of that time for him. He only experienced the tip of the iceberg of being on call for two bands, but there were times in the first 3 years it actually got easier when Jeff joined. It was easier because we were both in the band and we could both wrestle with the schedules. But before that, at times, Yes or Asia would extend a tour by a day, and then Yes or Asia would then expand the start of the tour, so the gap would start to close. And I would start freaking out saying, yeah, but hang on. If you add that date here, and they've just added this date here, I'm now squeezed like a concertina. So there was going to be a time of at some point when this was unworkable, and unfortunately it was the end of last year that made me realize that this being on call was really too much. I couldn't keep either really happy. I was either making Yes miserable or Asia miserable because of the other one being in existence. So I think that Asia had a terrific run and we made three great albums. In fact, XXX, I think, is a fantastic record. I thought that was a great statement. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to like being in multiple bands, it seems like it would work at first, but at the end of the day, things start becoming much more
Yeah.
stressful when they start deciding to extend tours or add an extra date on the same day that you would be performing with one band. So I could, from where he's coming from with this, I actually do understand why. This would also, as far as it goes for 2014's Gravitas, like you said, they did end up working on it, and then I was gonna say I'm trying to find something here, and it was actually sometime in 2016 or early 20, yeah, around. I just want to quickly look up something, but quick before I forget here. See if my stuff will even load here quick. All right, here we go. It would also, as far as it goes for 2014's Gravitas, that would be the last album that John Wen would ever sing in, because it was shortly afterwards, like sometime in 2016, 2017, he ended up getting diagnosed from he was diagnosed with cancer, and
Fuck.
the kind of cancer was it was basically colon cancer. And then sadly, on January 31st, at the time when we upload this, it'll be 9 years since John Wen died from the cancer.
Shit.
You know, it's a very unfortunate, that so a great singer like him would be taken so soon like that, or and
Yeah.
but I'm just really glad that he got to leave his mark in the music industry, because he was able to build up some experience and some clout with King Crimson and Uriah Heep, who are other big bands and whatnot. And for him to be able to really explode and make his name well known in Asia, dude, he sure Asia did not are not as memorable for a lot of other music, like with their two songs, Heat of the Moment and Only Time Will Tell, but Asia did leave a mark in the music industry, especially throughout the early 80s when they formed, and then to today, like it's it's just a phenomenal to see that you could even get like some of the biggest names in any genre to get together, especially with the likes of John, not just John Wen, but then you had Steve Howe, who's one of the most iconic guitarists in prog rock, and then Carl Palmer, who is probably among my all-time favorite drummers.
He's a good drummer. And I've said this before, but my favorite drummer is Terry Bozzio.
Yep, without a doubt, man. Without a doubt, indeed, man. You have any final thoughts you want to say about Asia?
Asia, if I have any say, I'm never going to listen to them again. They had some good songs, but not any songs that were good enough for me to go, ooh, I want to hear that again.
Here,
It's
dude,
like, that was,
dude,
go
you
ahead.
know, dude, you already know damn well that if I play Heat of the Moment on my Bluetooth speaker, you're still gonna listen regardless.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Let me tell you, if that song wasn't copyrighted or something like that, dude, I probably would have used that for the fucking ad that we did a while back. I
Yep.
would have did that instead. But that being said, man, 9 years since John Wen passed away, man. Rest in peace, John.
I'm cheersing you with an empty can.
Yeah, I'm all out of coffee now, and I didn't have time to make any. So, all right, we are going to continue on. We're going to continue with the next group that was formed in the ashes of Emerson, Lake, and Palmer, but years later, and it is, of course, Emerson, Lake, and Powell.
Excuse me.
Now, what
They
makes
only had
this,
one album, right?
yes, and you want to know what the most interesting thing about this band in particular
What?
was that Keith Emerson and Greg Lake were planning to actually reform the original ELP in '84, but because of Carl Palmer's no obligations and commitment to Asia, they weren't able to do so. But their record label were like, "You guys gotta get a band. You guys gotta bring a band together." So in Carl Palmer's place, they ended up bringing in none other than Cozy Powell, who actually already was an experienced drummer and is actually considered one of the most influential. He worked with the likes of the Jeff Beck group, Rainbow, um, Whitesnake, and Black Sabbath,
Hmm. Nice.
right? And of course, this band was formed in 1985 and it lasted until 1986. And as far as I know, I think they only did like maybe a couple live shows or something like that. I'm just taking a
Yeah.
look. But yeah, sadly, this is a band that's not really memorable. But I thought there were like a couple good tunes that I heard on their only album, so to speak. Um, for this band in particular, dude, like Emerson, Lake, and Powell, they're never coming back again because all three of them
Hmm.
are fucking dead, bro.
Damn.
Yeah. Well,
No,
huh?
I thought their album had, well, two and a half good songs on it.
For me, dude, it's tough to say because like I didn't really care much about their music, but then you listen to like I think Vacant Possession, I think on their only album's really my favorite. This album, as a matter of fact, is turning 40 years in June, and we are gonna do an album review of this album. So I want to try and save as much info for that album review, but I may still bring up a few things. We'll have to do like a just a reminder kind of thing for you. So
Yeah, so I'll just say this. I'll say this.
yeah.
I thought the score was good. I thought Mars, the Bringer of War was good, and I liked the beginning of the locomotion.
For Mars the Bringer of War, as soon as I get to that song, there is a lot that I need to fucking say about this song.
Right, yeah, we'll save that all for the
Yeah,
video.
once I get to it, yeah. All right,
Yeah.
so the album was released on June 2nd, 1986. It was recorded in 1985 and 1986. There is no concrete date for when this came out. It was recorded at Maison Rouge Studios in London and Fleetwood Mobile in Sussex. The genres were progressive rock, hard rock, and new wave. It was released by Politer Records, I believe is what it's called. Yep, Politer Records. And it was produced by Tony Taverner and Greg Lake. The album sadly did not do as well. It only got a 2.5 star rating by All Music.
Damn.
So sadly, Greg Lake and Keith Emerson were not able to recapture the magic that made ELP what they were in the early 70s. And I think I kind of also blame it on the fact that this was the 1980s and everyone was listening to other genres and progressive rock really wasn't as dominant as it was when it first was created, you
Okay.
know. So everyone had already moved on to other music genres, like hard rock, heavy metal. New wave was one of the big genres. No, this was supposed to be a new wave album as well, but I feel they really missed the target with that.
All right.
All right, so we're gonna get into it. I think the score, dude, it sounds like for some reason the score sounds like when you're preparing for a sports game, right? And oh my god, the fucking synthesizer that Keith Emerson is hitting with this. And then of course you get Greg Lake's iconic voice, man. You can hear him clear as day. Um, I don't know what to really say about Miracle, to be honest with you. The Miracle.
I didn't care for it.
Yeah. I know I had something for it, but I can't remember what I was gonna say.
Once again, I thought we were going to save this for until we actually review this album.
No, I'm still gonna get into it anyways because
Okay.
this is part of the podcast. So if we have to, we'll just repeat some of the info we're talking about on
Okay.
that album anyway. So, but yeah, I thought it was okay at some parts. Then you get to fucking Touch and Go, dude, and oh my god, dude, with Touch and Go, it felt like the synthesizer was almost as completely hard as it was on a couple of Genesis songs from Lamb Lies Down on Broadway. And this was supposed to be their biggest hit off this album. You know?
Really?
Yeah. But I wasn't much of a fan of Touch and Go, so
I wasn't either.
yeah. Oh my god, and then fucking Step Aside, dude. Dude, Step Aside, dude, I know I can understand they were trying to tone it back a little bit. Was it was Greg Lake intending to make this a slow dancing song or whatever?
I don't know.
Because
I didn't
you
like that
hear
song either.
I think he was trying to act like he was a 1920s or 30s blues singer. I don't know, dude. But Greg, fucking bro. Oh, and yeah. And then you get the next one that just continues that depressed vibe and it's lay down your guns. It's
I didn't
supposed
really care for that one
it
either.
sounds like it's supposed to be a fucking love song, and then all of a sudden you hear him talking about guns, right? But here we go. Mars, the bringer of war.
I thought that one was good. That was a good one.
This song sounds like, to me, literally, if Phantom of the Opera and Mars Attack had a love child, and this song was the result of it.
I can see it. Yeah.
But here's something that I don't know if you would realize, but at the end of this song, dude, it almost sounds like it's a throwback to the ending of TRRS.
I'd have to listen to it again, honestly.
Yeah. But dude, that's what it sounds like to me. Like the ending of Mars the Bringer of War literally sounds like it's a throwback to the ending of TRRS. Like I was like if that actually was supposed to be a reference to it, dude, Greg Lake. Greg, Greg. All right, and then we get to probably the only other song that I heard on here that's actually listenable, and that's Vacant Possession.
Yeah,
I
I
thought it
didn't really
was
care for
like,
that one.
I thought it was the only thing that was listenable to me, to be honest with you.
Once again, I said this, but I liked just the beginning of the locomotion. The rest of the song was eh. The beginning of the song was pretty fucking cool.
I've Okay, so the locomotion is supposed to be an instrumental, right? But then when you go on YouTube Music and where it says lyrics, it's not. It's supposed to say lyrics not available, but they put the fucking lyrics for Grand Funk Railroad's "The Locomotion" on there. It's not supposed to be a cover song, and I was like, "What the fuck, bro?" You know? Okay, so at the end of the day, like if you want to listen, if you're hoping for more Emerson, Lake, and Powell music, ladies and gentlemen, you can forget about it because all three of them are fucking dead, man. Cozy Powell was sadly killed in a car crash in early 1998. And then we all know that Keith Emerson tragically took his own life in early 2016, and Greg Lake died from cancer in late 2016. I mean, as much as I wanted to like this album, I feel like it did not hit the mark when it came to it, but I thought it was decent. Like maybe they could have did more to actually make
Decent at
this a
best, yeah.
huge album, but what are you gonna do, right? All right, so we're gonna move on to the last spin-off band, and it's just simply titled Three.
It's the German three. This is the American three. Oh
Yeah,
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 this is the German three. Yeah, you're
yeah.
right. You're right.
Oh, and Glorious
What the
Bastards.
fuck was
Yeah,
I
I'll have
thinking?
3 drinks, please.
Yeah, I'll have 3 drinks, please.
Yeah, and actually, when I first watched that, I was like, I don't get it. Why are they mad? And then all of a sudden, I realized, oh,
Yeah, they actually fucking explained it too.
yeah. I was like, what? I completely forgot about that. I completely fucking forgot about that. Okay. So, 3 is also known also as Emerson, Barry, and Palmer because Greg Lake ended up leaving, Emerson, Lake, and Powell, right? This band was active from 1988 to 1989. This was also around the time when Asia went on hiatus and Carl Palmer reunited with Keith Emerson. And they would end up bringing in Robert Barry as the singer, who is known for working with other bands such as Ambrosia, Alliance, Los Tres Gusanos, and previously and prior to that, had worked with the Greg Kine band. So he was kind of known a little bit in the music industry. Um, they had released, like I said, they were active from 1988 to 1989, and this actually was the only spin-off band that I actually did like.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Their music that I heard sounded very 80s like.
Once again, on their one album, 3 songs. 3 songs.
Yep. I think that's the same for
Well,
me. It's
two and a
3
half.
songs.
2.5. 2.5.
I think for me it's 3 full songs, so I will explain that when we get to it. But they would only release their only album to the power of 3, and they are called 3. And to name your only album to the power of 3, it sounds like the most basic shit I've ever seen for an album name from a band in my life. Anyways, the album was released on March 14th, 1988. It was recorded at EZ Studios in London and at West Side Studios in London. The genres are progressive rock, pop rock, and new wave. It was released by Geffen Records, and the producers were Carl Palmer and Robert Barry. I will say this, dude. You'd figure that Keith Emerson and Carl Palmer were able to resurrect the magic, but it didn't happen,
It
unfortunately.
didn't. No.
All Music only gave it 2 stars, and the Philadelphia Inquirer gave it 1 star.
Damn.
And for the charts, it peaked at number 97 on the US Billboard 200. But for the mainstream rock chart, their opening song, Talking About, was the only single released from the album, peaking at number 9.
All right, I'll be right back. I gotta use the bathroom. Give me shit for
Oh
it as
my
much as you want, but
fucking
I gotta pee
god,
bad.
dude! Fucking get a catheter and just stick it up there, dude. Then you don't have to keep fucking walking out every 10 to 15 minutes. Anyway, subscribe to the Roger Radio Show and the Intermission group if you haven't yet. What other music topics should we talk about? Let me know in the comments below. But yeah, and while you're at it, folks, be sure to follow me on my social media as well. I'm just quickly messaging a friend of mine.
Much better.
Okay, so where was I at on this? Oh, we were talking about the single. Like I said, this album is very, very 80s sounding right here, man. It really, really is. Well, obviously I'm gonna start with the opening track, Talking About, and this is my most favorite song from here.
Which
Like
one
I
was?
said, the opening track,
What was it called?
Talking About.
Talking about? I didn't really care for that one.
It sounded very 80s. I liked the overall music, and I liked Robert Barry's vocals, dude. His vocals are so 80s. And then the next one that I also like here is Lover to Lover. Another good tune.
Yeah, I didn't really care for Lover to Lover either.
I think there's like something about this whole album overall that sounds very, very 80s like, especially in
Yeah.
1988. Like, it's like the perfect tune, dude. I don't know why. It just is. It's like you do a travel back in time kind of thing, and yeah, you're there, you know? Oh, and then of course we get to Runaway. I think it's the chorus that killed me on here, but I liked the other stuff, you
Before
know?
that one, I really liked Des de la Vida.
Yeah.
I thought that one was really cool, and apparently that one's also a suite. Starts with La Vista, then Frontera, and then Sangre de Toro.
I don't understand what you're saying. Speak English!
Then I also thought On My Way Home had some cool parts.
Oh, yeah. Um, oh, dude, this next one here is another favorite of mine here. And let me tell you something. It sounds, if you combine new wave and my favorite genre, synth wave, together, you do or you don't.
Hmm.
I don't know why, dude. Like, I think it's probably the guitar playing and then Keith Emerson on the keyboards or synthesizer, I meant. But holy fuck, dude, another good tune right here. I think if I get married, I think I'm just gonna tell my bride this is definitely the song we're playing at our wedding. Get a little bit of that 3 in there, and all of a sudden Aegis just sneaks in out of nowhere, and it's all 3 of us dancing to a song by the band 3.
Yeah.
I mean, if you love this song, you do or you don't. Ha! Made a reference, made a pun,
You're
dude.
fucking, you're,
I gotta give
you're
myself a
fucking
high
hilarious,
five right
dude.
now.
You're
Yeah.
absolutely fucking hilarious.
Yeah. But I think when it comes to like the 3 songs that I chose, it's Talking About, You Do or You Don't, and Lover to Lover.
Yeah, for me it was Desert La Vida, 8 Miles High was okay. Then On My Way Home had some cool parts to it.
Yeah. Um, I'm just right now trying to take a look at something quick. The next song that I have that comes to mind is also On Our Way Home, which is what closes out their album, I believe. Um,
Yep, On My Way Home was the last song.
yep, I think it's oh, yep, yep, the closing track was a dedication to Tony Stratton Smith. I want to see who he is quick. I think maybe he was a friend of one of them. I'm just taking a look quick. Alrighty, da, 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 da. It doesn't really say much on here, but apparently he must have been like a oh yeah, he was a record producer and who worked with the other bands. He was a music manager. He was a music manager. Okay, so I'm just trying to see if they said anything about if he worked with one of them. Um, yeah, it doesn't really say a whole lot on here, but it said that the band three ended up dedicating the closing track on my way home to him, and there was a couple other tributes that were done, but we'll save those for another time. But yeah, that pretty much closes out the um album. And what can I say about this song? It's very hauntingly sad.
Yeah.
You know, that's pretty much all I got to say really about this song. But yeah, at the end of the day, three failed to recapture the magic of Emerson, Lake and Palmer's legacy. And after this album, they would end up disbanding, so to speak. Then no, Robert Barry would end up creating his new project. I'm just trying to see where the info's at quick. Oh wait, I see. I remember where it's at. Oh yeah, here we go. Carl Palmer and Robert Barry are the only surviving members left here. Keith Emerson, as we all know, like I said in the aforementioned Emerson, Lake and Powell, tragically took his own life in early 2016. Um, Basically, this album, I thought was honestly my favorite one after them.
Yep.
I thought it was. But yeah, like I said, at the end of the day, the band failed to really garner a whole lot of exposure, kind of thing. Barry would end up forming the band Alliance, and then Emerson and Palmer would reunite with Greg Lake if in 1992 in the early 90s to reunite the Emerson, Lake and Palmer name and would release their 1992 album Black Moon.
Honestly, Black Moon wasn't as good as their earlier albums. I
That's what
listened to
I've
it.
heard. That's what I've heard is that their two albums that they released, the Black Moon and In
Down
the
in
Hot
the
Seat,
hot
did not
seat.
do well.
Yeah, they're in the hot seat is honestly Emerson, Lake and Palmer's weakest album.
Yeah, I think honestly, dude, they should have just did they should have what they should have did is they should have just reunited and did a few reunion shows, but not release any more music.
Yeah.
I feel like Emerson, Lake and Palmer, I think by the time they broke up in 1979 had ran their course. You know, But then, of course, what can I say about these spin-off bands? Like they were good experiments, but unfortunately, Asia was honestly the only one that was successful. But they were only well known because of their debut album. Emerson, Lake, and Powell failed to really recapture the magic of ELP, and three failed to recapture the magic of ELP.
Yes.
But those two bands I would consider as like hidden gem bands that I would encourage everyone to at least listen to once, and then you decide for yourselves if you like it. That's what I did, and there is some music that I thought was bad. I mean, my only closing argument for this is Do I think all the Asia, EL, Emerson, Lake and Powell and Three's music's all bad? I don't think so. Like there is
Not
some
all of
good.
it, most of it, but not all of it.
Yeah, like not all of it's bad. There is some really good music that's there. Like
Yeah.
there's some hidden gems. Like I said, you either do or you don't like their music. But I would encourage everyone to give it a listen. Okay, so we have reviewed all seven of the albums, or at least a short synopsis, a quick review of them. What would you say is your most favorite album?
It's so fucking tough one.
I'm putting you on the
Huh?
spot.
I think I hate to say this, but I think I'd have to go with Emerson, Lake and Powell.
Really? I mean, dude, you gotta admit though, Mars the Bringer of War, dude, I thought really did at least capture the hauntingness that ELP did. It's probably one of the best instrumentations I've heard. You know, for me, dude, it's to the power of 3 by 3.
Yeah.
And what would you say is your most favorite song from each of the spin-off bands? One from each.
Uh,
While you look that up, I'll quickly tell you mine. Heat of the Moment for Asia. Um, Vacant Possession by Emerson, Lake and Powell. And Talking About by 3.
I'd have to go with one of the two suites for Asia. To the power of three, I'd go with Des de la Vida. Then for Emerson, Lake and Powell, I'd say Mars, the Bringer of War.
Like I said, if I think for Keith Emerson, dude, if the synthesizer would have been toned down just a tiny bit, dude, I think the album I would enjoy more. But like I said, dude, it felt like he went way too fucking hard on the synthesizer, just like on Genesis Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, you know. But what can I say for these three? Like they were good. They were good experiments, but unfortunately, they just did not live up to the legacy that the original Emerson, Lake, and Palmer name made. They tried. There was some good stuff here and there, but not all of it. But obviously, in reality, dude, like just because you start a new project does not mean it's going to be as successful as your first project
Yeah.
was. You figured that because you're starting this new project with all the experience you had, it's going to help them get more exposure, but that is not true. The one example I can give you, and this is a little bit off topic, is when Oasis broke up in 2009 and they ended up forming BDI.
Hmm.
That is the big example right there. And
Yeah.
even Liam Gallagher even said we started out okay, but at the end we were pretty much a band that was only fit for bars and pubs. That's what I think the Emerson, Lake, and Powell and 3 were. Asia, I don't think it would matter for them because they were still massive. They're still making a bunch of big concerts, dude. They're still selling out pretty good. But ladies and gentlemen, I would recommend you give them a listen. That's all I can say. The links to all the
Yep.
albums that we reviewed will be in the description below. I encourage you to check them out. Just give them a try once and let us know in the comments what your thoughts are about them. What do you got? You have anything else you want to say quick?
Nope. Nothing to say. Ran into some technical difficulties with our Pokemon Emerald series for a few of the episodes. The game audio didn't record, but the vocal audio did. So we're still going to upload them, and in the next videos we record for that series, we will make sure the video game audio itself is recorded.
Yeah. Um, for me, dude, like, and then there's also the big next comedy sketch that we're gonna be making. I want to keep it. I want to keep it a surprise, but everyone, you're gonna fucking love it.
It's fucking hilarious.
Right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in. Aegis, so there was an update that you gave me a while back about your thoughts about possibly moving to Minneapolis. Can you please update everyone on what you told me?
But the situation in Minneapolis with ICE and plus these new opportunities for me making music for the local Catholic Church, I will not be moving to Minneapolis anymore. We will be staying in Grand Rapids with Roger.
Intermission Group is still gonna be together, baby!
Yeah.
The Intermission Group is still here to fucking stay!
Yep.
Hey, so it's another reason to celebrate, so...
Yeah, I'm going to be doing some work at the local Catholic Church. I'll be transposing and transcribing music. I'll also be composing new music for the choir, well, for the music program there. They have more than just a choir. They also have a cello, organ, keyboard, piano. So I'll be working on that too, in addition to the Roger Radio Show.
Yep.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, there will be a few more episodes that we're going to record. There'll probably be like maybe a couple episodes in a 2-day span because not only is there what we talked about here, but I want to also talk about like another big topic that probably might be the most serious. I want to save it for when we talk about it. And then there's Megadeth's new album that just came out, which is their last one I want to review. And then there's also the fucking Grammys too, so stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this podcast. What other topics should we talk about on here? Let us know in the comments below. And also be sure to subscribe to the Roger Radio Show. Hit the bell to be notified when we upload here, and also hit the like button. And then also subscribe to the Intermission Group. There's a lot of big plans that we have for future episodes. We still gotta finish the Condiment Roulette series. Right now, the movie reviews that we've been doing over there, or have done a couple of times, is kind of in limbo, but we'll update you if we decide to continue it or not. There is a few more movies that I want to do, and then we'll decide if we want to continue or not. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for supporting us. It means the world. And as always, until next time, ta-ta for now.
Peace.